Hi everybody, my name is Jeremy Siskind. I'm the author of the Jazz Piano Fundamentals series, as well as playing solo jazz piano. And I have a few more announcements than usual today. First thing is that there's a new translation in the Jeremy Siskind publishing family. This is an Italian translation of playing solo jazz piano. I guess I will try to pronounce it. Suonare il piano jazz solo. Big thank you to Francesco Manfredi for doing the translation. I'm going to have him on the channel soon, but this is available on my website as a PDF, or if you want the hard copy, it's available on Amazon. Let's make this the best-selling Italian book ever. Take that, Dante's Inferno. Is that Italian or Latin? I should know that. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Second announcement. I'm pre-recording this video, but today is actually my wedding day. Hey, that's exciting. So there's not going to be instructional videos for a hot second, but I'm posting a few performance videos of a recital I did in Alabama, in Huntsville, Alabama. No, not Huntsville. Yes, Huntsville. A couple really interesting performances. I think you'll enjoy them. I hope you'll check them out. Send me a nice message to congratulate me on my wedding. And then lastly, I posted this on YouTube, but if you like my books and are willing to, I've opened up the website section for reviews of the books. If you give me a nice review, send me an email, I'll send you a free copy of the Jeremy Siskind collection via PDF, which are some of the original compositions that I've written and thought might be worthy of publishing and having other people play. All right, thank you for bearing with me through those introductions. And today, what I wanted to do was to show you how you can create a lot of variety in an accompaniment without using too much variety. And I guess what I mean is that I'm listening to a lot of piano accompanists and seeing them trying to do too much too fast, so that by the end of the first course, it seems like they've used up all of their material, they've played in all their dynamic ranges. And I just think that people can be a little bit smarter and savvier. And so I'm going to demonstrate doing that using a chart, popular standard tune, My Romance. This is a chart that I've got here. If you're not familiar with this tune, this is really one of the standard tunes. And you should note that it's an A-B-A-C form, meaning that the first 8 bars present a theme. The next 8 bars continue with kind of a contrasting theme. The following 8 bars, right after the middle of the piece, return to the original 8. And then the last 8 measures are different and move to a climax. So I'm going to pretend like I'm accompanying a vocalist here. And my goal is going to be to stay in a 2 feel for all 32 measures. Right, so 2 feel means that I'm playing half notes in the bass. And at the beginning, I just really don't have to do that much. And I think I'll try to sing along with this. If you've watched this channel at all, or if you know me, you know I'm very much not a singer, so keep your expectations really low. But my romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky. My romance doesn't need a blue lagoon standing by. Okay, so I want to pause there. So that's kind of the simplest thing that you can do in a 2 feel, which is that I'm literally playing my left hand bass and my right hand chords just at the same time and holding them. I'll demonstrate that one more time. My romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky. My romance doesn't need a blue lagoon standing by. Now, I would only do this with a singer that I have confidence in and whose 8th notes are swinging, because you're not really doing any swinging here. But let me show you one gradation more that you could use, which is to repeat the bass note leading in to each of the strong beats. So instead of just, we'll go, and this way we're able to imply the swing a little bit without doing too much. So it sounds like this. My romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky. My romance. Okay. Now, one general rule of fills, let's say, is that you can do fills in the most structurally important places. Okay, and this is going to be really mathy, but the most structurally important places are going to be the 2 to the x power. So, 2 squared is 4 bars, 2 cubed is 8 bars, 2 to the 4th power is 16. Is that true? I don't really know math. But these are going to be really the places. Another way to say this is every 4 bars. But I say that 2 to the x because, like, the bigger the power, the more important. Like, it's really important to change something here. It's pretty important to change something here. Up here, you could do a little something, right? So the bigger the power, the more important it is. So what could we do? Let's say we want to make that 4th measure just a little bit different. So my romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky. So what did I do there? I didn't do much, but I came in with the chord and the bass note on the and of 2 rather than on beat 3. And because it's on an offbeat, I put an accent there. So my romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky. My romance. Or maybe I could add an extra bass note on beat 4. My romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky. Right? So just a little something to point out, hey, it's a structurally important moment. I'm going to make a little contrast here. I'm not just going to keep going as though nothing's happening. Okay, so we're using some little and of 2 additions in the bass to add a little bit of swing. Now, as we get to the B section, we can separate the hands a little bit. It could be so I'm doing like a 2 measure comping pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. That's just one suggestion. Okay, so that's going to sound very different than the chords really start changing in the second line of the B section. So I might change again. And what I mean by the chords really start changing is that, we're kind of just like mostly staying around C major, A minor. We go to a little bit of F major, right? These predictable keys. And then here, all of a sudden, on this F sharp minor, 7 flat 5, we're using a lot of notes that are pretty far outside the key, right? The root of the chord is F sharp, which is the tritone away from C. So maybe now I'm going to put both the bass and the chords into a little comping pattern. So I'll take it from letter B. No month of May, no twinkling stars, no hideaway, no soft guitars. Okay, so what did I do? No hideaway. I call call this common pattern the reverse Charleston. It's beats and of 1 and 3. No hideaway, no twing. I went back to bass on 1 and 3. Wing stars. And then downshifting, because I want to do this next A section just like I did the first A section, right? It's the same melodic and harmonic content, so we should play it the same way. My romance doesn't need a castle rising in Spain, or dance to a constantly surprising refrain. Right, that's one of those places where I want to add something. I'm at an 8 measure mark, so I'm gonna do here. This is a classic walk up. Whole step, half step, half step. That's how a walk up always works. So C, D, E flat, E, wide awake. Okay, so we're at the C section. We could do something somewhat similar to the B section. Right, which was that we're still playing the bass line, but now we're comping in a pattern. So I could do wide awake, my most fantastic dreams come true. Now the difference here is that we're going to what's known as the climax of the tune. This is the melodic high point as well as the point of most harmonic tension. And so we do want to build tension a little bit. And I think most people would agree that we build tension by increasing the rate of repetition, right? I'll give you just a different example of how that works. If I go, okay, so the rate of repetition is slow. It's speeding up. As we increase, it increases the desire to have it change. So instead of doing kind of these nice relaxed 2-measure comping rhythms here, what I might do instead is 1-measure comping rhythms. And then at this moment of climax, my most fantastic dreams come true. Here I want to do something really different. This is also the turn of the song in the lyrics. Almost always, after the musical climax, the lyrics repeat the opening lyric. So here it's my romance, right? The very first lyric was my romance doesn't need to have a castle or something, a star in the sky, something. And so now it's my romance doesn't need a thing but you. So it's kind of a clever turn. And that turn is musically represented by this A minor to D minor 7 flat 5 over A flat. That's getting us back to our home key. So I'm repeating something every measure now. Wide awake. I can make my most fantastic dreams come true. So I might have a moment of silence. My most fantastic dreams come true. My romance doesn't need a thing but you. And then as we return to the opening lyric, I might choose to return to the opening, kind of just bass and chords both on 1 and 3. Doesn't need a thing but you. Possibly with that little skip beat in there. Or the other option is to keep it big, right? Because the singer is still actually singing really high here. My romance doesn't need a thing. So we could go wide awake. I could make my most fantastic dreams come true. My romance doesn't need a thing but you. repeating a comping pattern. And I'm just making big voicings, as well as doing a pedal point in the left hand, right? G is staying in the left hand. Doesn't need a thing but. So throughout all of this, you've noticed I've done very little. I'm not using the upper register. I'm not playing loudly. I'm not putting in wild bass fills or wild melodic fills. I'm not making really big voicings necessarily. I'm using basically one or, depending on how you want to count it, 2 comping patterns. The left hand's always playing the bass. Of course, there's a lot of ways to accompany a singer. I'm not saying to limit yourself, but you want to be able to limit yourself and to make these little gradations of variety, these little know the places where you're going to add fills, have your variations match up with the important places in the form, and make sure that it reflects the lyrical content. So I hope that was helpful and gives you a few ideas. If your nuances are good enough, you don't have to play the whole piano all the time. All right, thank you for watching, everybody. If you speak Italian, or even if you don't, go check out Suonare il piano jazz solo, and comment with the phrase "Here comes the bride" to celebrate my wedding. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you soon.